It's your boys,
It's your boys, BK
BK
Game
Game Devs. How
Yep.
you doing?
Back again. It's a Wednesday, not a Thursday. Holidays, as you know. But yeah, we're back again for more game development, more Metroidvania development, and this week we're going to be taking a look at a few different things. So, if you were with us last week, if you weren't, here's what we did. We worked on scene transitions. How do we get the game to load between two scenes? And scenes in Unity are levels, right? So, if you're playing the game and you go through a door of sorts, how do you make it so that it loads the next scene in a very quick way? Yeah, so, and we also noticed a little bug there. So if you go back there, Alex, you'll notice when you go over to the right.
What's happening here?
Oh, what is going on? All right, well, that's something else we'll take a look at.
I wonder if
Why
it's
do I
because
feel like that's some weird pivot thing?
I don't know. That was could be my scaling. I'm not. It's all right. You keep going.
Sure, yeah. So if you walk to the right, you're gonna see that there's like a jitter where like the camera like moves the player, so like it moves so quick it looks kind of like awkward. So we'll take a look at that, and then we're also gonna be discussing the health system for our game. We have a few ideas in mind, so we'll talk it out and see what works best. But after that, we'll start to implement that and see how we can get health and kill zones and stuff starting to work again. If we have time, we'll play it by ear. Another change you might notice is Alex has made some changes in recent time where it's much easier for everyone to see the editor. I know that sometimes we're talking about game events and events and values and stuff that maybe you might have to like lean into your computer to see, but hopefully now it's a bit easier to see. He's updated the scaling and stuff for when we're streaming, and at least from what I can see on stream right now, it's I can read everything that's there.
Yeah,
how do you feel about?
I'm looking at it from my phone, and I think you have to do like a wide view rather than a regular view, because like that it's too tiny to see anything, of course. But wide view, I can actually read everything on the screen. I know on desktop, I've tested that out before, and you can actually. I'm pretty sure maybe every stream we've had before, like not really many people can actually read it because it's sort of condensed, it was kind of stretched out. So now instead of it being stretched out, we just put some stuff below it in its place. Like I have like a little follower goal thing, so we're trying to get to 100 followers.
Yep, we're trying to grind for 100. Thanks to everyone who's following us right now and who comes to view our streams. Definitely let your friends know if you think that they'd be into game development or learning about what goes into game development, or if they just want to come chill, that's fine too. So we definitely appreciate all the support, and we're definitely grinding to get that first 100 followers.
I think I know how to take care of this.
Okay, sure, yeah. So you're working on the issue with that camera thing, right?
Yeah, might as well. It's really
Yeah.
It's really just going to be like when you spawn player. Right after that, you have fade in. Mm-hmm. Oh no, you're right.
What's happening is it's fading in, and then the camera moves. So like if you walk into it, the player went to the wrong place there. That was interesting.
Wait, what's the issue with the camera that you're talking about?
Hold on. Another issue just came up. Why'd the player spawn there? Interesting.
Wait.
Well, I will explain though. The issue. Oh, it's because you're starting from scene 1, not game, maybe.
No, I'm starting from game.
Oh, okay. Ignore me.
When I load, loading cave 1.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, to explain the issue with the camera, if it'll happen again, when he walks through. See, it's not happening here, but what happened before was when you walk through the right transition and go into the second room of caves, you see a jitter where the camera kind of like really tries to follow the player, so it like kind of just like snaps across it's a bit of a jarring way. Like it looks like there's a bug, because it is.
Yeah, why is the player like teleporting across the scene? What's going on there?
It's because it's two different scenes actually. It's just
now it's working.
Yeah, so there it worked, and you saw how it like
I did see it. It kind of like
it
Jittery.
flashed, and then
like
and
that.
then the camera had to like try and find the player, so it moves like really quick, and it's kind of again it's like jarring.
Makes sense.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
will try and take a
wonder.
look at that.
I wonder if we can. Hold on. Here we're spawning player, right?
Yep.
On room loaded. That's when we spawn player.
Maybe we need to wait a certain amount of time before they fade in, like a very short amount of time, just so that the camera catches up, or instead of letting the camera catch up, because what's happening is in Caves 1, let's say that the camera position is on the X, it's 100, and on the Y, it's 0, right? When it goes to scene 2, the player is at 000, for example, so the camera has to like try and move from X100 to X0, and so it creates that effect. Should we, instead of letting it follow the player, should we just like snap it to where it needs to be? Like instead of having to follow to where the player is, just move exactly to the player's position. Then there should be, at least in my head, no like jarring movement. It should just be where it's supposed to be. I think at least.
I'm trying to see if that's possible. So we would want to do it right here, right?
Yeah. So after spawn spawn player, and then we can create a method that is that takes the virtual cam and moves its screen X and screen Y, or moves its transform to the player's transform.
Wait,
I think we should be able to do that.
I don't know. Oh, actually, maybe.
Okay.
Move to top, send message, add extension, transform.
Also, another thing, just because I just noticed it, we can also, for Caves 1 and Caves 2 at least, we can use the Cinemachine's bounds thing to like clip the bounds. Oh wait, or did you not want to do that, Alex? I remember what we did. We had to create a polygon collider and wrap it around the level.
If we're talking about that, it's probably a similar. It's probably going to be a similar thing to you know, when we, for each spawn point, or rather for each transition, we're setting the scene that we're going to,
Yep.
and the spawn point. It'd be a similar thing. You know, spawn A is like the receiver in the next room, right? And when you know spawn happens, or rather when room is loaded, that's when. No, I guess this guy is the one that's doing spawn player, sending off the message to that spawn point for it to then relay to the player that this is where you're supposed to go.
Yeah, I think we should create a room manager dot like camera or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what that would be. Or not even camera, but like bounds. Something like the set bounds, basically.
Okay, yeah, I think that should be good. But yeah, let's take it one step at a time. So let's first figure out why the camera is moving so far. But as you said, maybe we can create, so spawn player moves the player to a certain position. What if we create room manager dot move camera, or like set camera initial location or something like that? So it spawns the player, it puts the camera right where it needs to be, which is on the player, and then we let the rest of the fading happen, so that there should be no like jarring kind of movement.
Well,
Also take note of these things so that we don't forget.
Sure. Recomposer, camera offset, collider, confiner, follow zoom, pixel perfect. Well, one of the things that I noticed is happening is this might be causing the spawn point to not happen. So let me just
do
the like on disable on the room manager.
Got it. Okay.
I'm nulling it out, but there could be a time where it's setting on disable. Hold on, I gotta like go to a different scene to sort
do
of
you
fix
use
it.
that? Do you use that function when you're like unloading the other scene? What's on disable for?
On disable is like when a game object or asset basically is no longer enabled. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Because I was nulling it out, but it might be. I thought on disable for those was being called during the like when I stopped running the whole thing, right?
I get you.
It could be called somewhere in between.
Yeah, and so it's causing that issue.
Yeah, now it's no longer causing it. So I guess that's fine.
Can you put the game at 0.15 time real quick? I just want to see what exactly is happening.
Yeah.
Wait, I mean, I'm still seeing the camera do that though.
No, yeah, that's not the issue.
Yeah, that's not fixed yet. The issue I think he just fixed was the one that you just fixed, Alex, was that the player was spawning in the wrong location, right?
Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I'll put that in the meeting notes.
Understandable.
Okay. Let me. It almost seems like fade out isn't happening. Hold on. No, it is. I don't know what I'm talking about. But time. Slow down time to 0.1.
Yep, and then let's take a look at what happens, and we can see which happens first, second, third.
This year. I think that may.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right.
Oh.
Whoa. Okay, you hit the transition. Okay, see, fade in does not happen. Fade out happens. Wait for it.
And then fade in.
Yeah, okay, so it changes scene, puts player there, then it fades out and fades in.
Right.
So that's what's happening. That's why you get that drawing effect.
So fade out should be happening before the scene changes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it.
Or during it, like while the scene is changing, but before the player is spawned, because
that's so weird because it is happening.
Oh, crossfade out is the first thing.
Wait, hold on.
So
Let me.
Is it that the rest of the code runs too fast? Because our crossfade is a 1 second animation, which I think is good, but could it be that everything else happens so fast that like it can't keep up almost?
No, that's weird. No.
Oh wait, no, because it's an action sequence, because it should wait, right?
Oh, whoops.
Wait, what happened?
Oh, holy crap. That's my fault.
Wait. Explain what's going on.
So when I added time,
yeah.
Time, I added it before on-game event raise.
Sorry, so wait, hold on. So these wait for are...
They're like a behavior and action.
Oh, okay, so the action sequence will wait for either a certain amount of time or for a certain game event to get raised. Yes. And you had it on time, not game event raised, and time was set to 0. So it was happening instantly.
Yeah, the issue was the order in which I put in the enums. I put in time before on a game event raise because I felt like it was going to be a common one. But what happened was when serialized, you get 0, 1, 2, 3, right? Or that's the order. That's the values that are given.
Yeah.
Serialized transition sequence had value 2, right? Which was on a game event raise. But now its time is value 2. Which is why.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that's
got you.
Like, yeah, maybe that's what was causing everything.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense to me.
Well, let's see. I guess.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
One of these might be using time though.
I remember you saying that one of them might use time. So let's see. Let's just go one by one. So you cross, fade out.
No, none of them use time. Then... Otherwise, time would have a value. I know what uses time. It's not this.
Okay, got it.
Hold on, let me make sure.
Load room async, and then we set the game object as active once the room is loaded.
This uses time. This is the one.
This is for what?
Spawning the after images. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So can you explain again how this works?
Sure. So I modified the after image logic to use scriptable objects for actions. So, and this might go into the whole ability tracker ability thing, but scriptable object as action is kind of what I was going with. In this case, it's a spawn action, which you can, use assign a prefab, give it some sort of like configuration, like its offset. What else was there? A rotation, and whether you want it to be parented or not. And when you create an instance of this scriptable object, you just have to reference it, apply it. Here, you just have to pass a transform. So for
the player's transform,
right? The player's transform, because after image we wanted to like sort of happen where like an after image has to be left behind wherever the player was
where the player was, and then what is it after image spawn? A scriptable object, you said, right? Is that an
No,
instance of
the scriptable object spawns the after image prefab. The after
okay, yes,
image,
I'm
yeah.
saying.
And
Okay, yes, got it.
so what I
And
also
so,
did
sure, yeah.
was when the reason why time is now there as a wait for behavior is action sequence. So this component can be used as a
It can handle loops.
exactly handle loops
I see
where
it,
where you
yeah.
have intervals of where you have time intervals. Like for example, this action, right? When you start the sequence, it'll apply it after 0.05 seconds. But if you have loops on, it'll apply it. Just keep applying it every
It just keep doing it.
0.05.
And because the player has a duration for the dash, which is I think 0.25 seconds, once that's done, it will then stop that loop because this is no longer true, right? Because the duration of the dash is done.
So as opposed to setting like set after image, you're setting trigger sequence. I have different versions of trigger sequence now.
I get it.
There's a regular one, right, which just triggers it. There's a stop sequence, in case of loops or in case you want to interrupt one. And then there's a trigger sequence, which takes a Boolean value. And based on this Boolean value, it'll either start or call to start or stop.
I get it. And so what you're showing here, dashing is a Boolean, right?
Yeah, the callback sends a Boolean.
Okay, cool.
So it just all works. I mean, here's Firefox. There's Firefox. Here's the and all of this uses Unity's addressables, which is like their implementation of it's like asset management. But the reason why we're going with it is because it handles a lot of the memory. Like things aren't left behind when we destroy an object. So textures that might have been loaded in get unloaded. So you're not increasing the amount of memory you have allocated as you create clones of things.
Cool. Sounds good.
So just to show, where is it?
So it's garbage collection.
Yeah, here. Let me also zoom in like two.
Yeah, it seems like it's garbage collection more efficiently.
Yeah, it's memory management. Unity does it for you.
That's good.
And it kind of like replaces things. I think people would call them asset bundles, and then like some other stuff. So this is asset after image controller used to be the thing that created stuff, like that clone these after images, but now it goes on a prefab and sort of it acts as like the instantiation logic, right? It takes
so on instantiate, it takes the transform of the spawner, which is going to be the player.
Yes.
And then it'll try to get the sprite renderer and set that sprite renderer. Okay, and then and so this now only sets the sprite. This does not do the instantiate, right?
Yes, of course.
The instantiation happens
right here.
In spawn action. Okay, spawn action has a apply method which takes a transform, instantiation offset, a rotation, okay, and then instantiate reference async is the addressables version of instantiate a new prefab, and then prefab reference position rotation. Okay, makes sense. And then you're subscribing to the completed event, and once that's done, you run the code to instantiate. Okay, got it.
Because anything that's spawning, right? Like the idea is that anything that you want spawn, like that you want, anything that you're instantiating at any point, and if you want very specific logic on it, you will inherit from the ispawn interface, and then given that there's a component like a mono behavior that does do that, I will then call the instantiate on that. So after image now handles its own sort of behavior when it gets spawned. And this one just, it's just calling it. It's just, it could be anything. It could be like a bullet, for example, that has like a.
Yeah, it could be a bullet. It could be after image. It can be anything. Yeah, okay. Which I think works a lot better. And again, shout outs to you, Alex, because there are tons of other ways to do this, but this is a very memory efficient,
also very clean.
Clean way to
very clean.
Because the goal here is that all you have to, and with addressables, to make anything an asset reference, which is how you actually pull it in, you just have to indicate by clicking the check mark that it's addressable. That's really all you have to do on that end. And here is the Yeah, here is the after image spawn. So we can have many spawn actions. Each
That's
one
what I was
doing
trying
its
to
own
see.
thing. Yeah.
So the scriptable object holds the reference and then the offset and the set parent. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's just these are pretty much the idea for like abilities in general is that we'd have the logic in a scriptable object, and when we create an asset out of it, right? It's kind of like we're just configuring stuff around it, like a bullet, or like say some sort of energy shot type of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
An enemy can do it, a player can do it, but each one may have its own set of damage. Each one may have its own colors, or even its own like prefab.
Yeah, sure, and that makes it way more. It gives us one solution for hundreds of things.
Yeah,
and then that way it's
yeah.
Okay, cool. So now that we figured that out, let's test out the the Crossfade thing. I forgot where we were because
I think we go on tangents sometimes.
That's okay.
Hey,
but this is something that I did in between streams, and that it is something I forgot to mention. It's probably
it's a good to explain.
Definitely worth explaining.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay, so yes, game event. I think these are all appropriately set. I think this one is appropriately set.
Did you put on disable back? Didn't you comment that out? Or?
No, but I did comment it out, and now that I think about it, the bug may not have been because of that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why I was. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that I think about it, since we know that our loading is faster, do we want to reduce the crossfade length? Because we could reduce it to maybe even 0.5 instead of 1 second. Because
look at that, everything is fixed just because of that. That's
crazy.
That's the worst.
I want you to test something out. Can you dash into the next scene?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, can you dash back? Because I thought I saw something when I was testing. It was weird.
No, I can't.
Oh, you can't dash. Nice. Good find.
That's actually not what I found.
Oh, I'm dead.
I'm dead. Wait, what do you mean you can't dash?
I can't dash.
You just can't. Can you slide?
Hold on. Could it be?
Oh wait. Can I? I can't slide anymore either.
I think I know what's happening. Just
routines are getting shut off because of.
Exactly, and so what's happening is the coroutine that does the refreshing gets cut, and so then your dash and your slide never refreshes.
I wonder if I jump into the next scene. Oh no, I guess
because jump grounded. Isn't on a refresh; it's just on a grounded check.
Yeah.
Whereas the slide, the dash, are on a refresh timer. So
that's hilarious.
All right,
make that a bug somewhere, because I think that might need its own.
Yeah, that might take its time. So I will note that down.
I don't remember if there's anywhere else that's
Wait, so like, what's the exact bug there?
Oh, the bug itself is that it's probably this one, right? Like when we slide, we're also sort of like creating a timed action where we, at the end of this action, we wanted to like, reset that you can dash and you can slide, right? But the issue is, because these are all on coroutines, the moment we set player to inactive, which we do as part of this whole thing, it cuts them off, it stops them. So we need something that like, oh, you know what might solve it all?
I think we should just exactly on enable, just set it back to true.
Yeah, like,
because I think it's fine that the coroutines get cut. We just want to, anytime that the player is re-enabled, they can, again, given that they are, grounded and have the right, stuff for dashing and sliding, which is just being on the ground, which will take care of itself. Just set sliding or slide refreshing as false, or set can slide and can dash as true.
Yeah, I think
I think that's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
I agree. And what I'm saying is, whenever we encounter a problem like this, where we can do something before but not after a transition, I think this is probably the first place we should look.
Where?
No, it just like in player control area,
yes.
like
Yeah, I totally
any
agree.
like look for any coroutine that was involved in that particular operation that you were doing.
Yep, I totally agree.
So here we have dash and we have can dash, right? And can dash is dash refreshing.
Can dash means that you've met the grounding requirements and stuff. Like, but you're on the ground and you're, I don't know, because you can dash in the air and on the ground. So
dashing is equal to false. Wait. Okay, we need to be careful about this one too. We need to make sure like after images aren't being like created. But you know what? Because that action sequence controller is under the parent, it's also getting inactivated. Therefore, it stops. So I guess that's fine. But
cool. Yeah.
In general, you just have to be careful of that. So when we're here, dash refreshing is true. Dash refreshing is false. Dashing. Dashing. So dashing is false, can dash is true when we're grounded.
Wait, say that. Oh, okay, yeah. You can dash if you're grounded or you're wall sliding. And now that I think about it, if you're grounded, and then we also check that if you aren't grounded, you can dash in midair. So where do we handle that part actually?
When we actually land on the ground again.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the logic when we were still on the ground. Yeah, I think we should be able to fix it just by making sure this is set to false.
I think I think we want to set dash refreshing to true. I mean to false. Sorry, yeah, to false. Not dashing. I think maybe we want to set a few things. Set dashing, can dash, and dash refreshing.
Okay. Yeah.
To false. So sorry. One more time. Can dash, true. Dashing, false. Dash refreshing, false. Same thing for slide. I think that should take care of that.
Can dash is. I'm gonna keep it to this. I don't think we'll see.
I feel that let's be safe because there could be a case where we don't want the players, I don't know, in some state that isn't just grounded. So just to be safe, yeah, I think that should be good.
And then what else was there? There was sliding.
Sliding, yeah. Those are the only two that I think it's exactly the same because we mirrored it off of the dash to begin with.
Initialize. What? Sliding. So can slide.
Can slide, sliding,
or slide refreshing.
And slide refreshing. Yep. We don't need that part about the is grounded part. There's a different check. I think that the check for can slide is
true. Oh.
Not necessarily. We have to check
if grounded.
If grounded, yeah. I think that's it, right? Just if grounded. Because you can't slide. Yeah, you can only slide when you're grounded. Not if you're wall sliding. Not if you're jumping. Not if you're. Did we let them dash? No, because dash disables the input, so it doesn't even matter. So yeah, just change that to, or change the if check in initialize sliding to instead of just is grounded and take away the wall sliding.
Oh yeah,
and then put can slide under there.
You know what though?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I don't know, but can't slide. I'm gonna enable inputs just in case.
Okay.
No, probably not what we want to do.
Actually, let's test this out first. Let's call initialize dashing and sliding on enable, and let's see what happens.
Yeah. Dashing, slide refreshing, yada yada yada. Oh, oops. Sliding. Slide refreshing false, can dash 2. And I think I just have to... Where did I put it? There. Probably a bug fixing stream. Initialize. My concern is really with the enable inputs part, because for dashing and for sliding we disable inputs, but remember that's on a counter, so if those aren't setting it to true, then you know, there may be weird things, but we don't want to do it in the code because enable inputs is very much part of this sequence of transition.
Yeah, I totally agree, because the same thing that's happening with Alright, you can dash and now slide into the next scene.
I don't think that was a proper slide.
No, I think it ended before.
No.
Yeah, okay, all good.
I'm just gonna assume it's all fixed.
Yeah, I think that's good. Now, Chris, what was the actual issue that you were facing? The one before we found this?
I don't know. It was kind of weird. Maybe it fixed itself when you fixed the thing with the game events. It was like I dashed through and I appeared like on the other side of the wall, and I was just like dashing into the wall like this, and
infinitely.
It was weird.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. It was, but it's not happening. So,
it could be that same issue.
Yeah,
like the whole weight stuff. Like it could have been because of that. By the way, I just realized you can also dash and slide at the same time.
You shouldn't be able to. What is this, wave dashing? This is melee, guys? What?
Hold on. I think I could do that. I think I could.
Are you sure, man?
Yeah. I saw it. When I jumped.
What? Wow, you like wave dashing, dude. If we leave this in the game, people are gonna find a way to just clip through walls.
It's true.
Literally wave dashing. Okay, so what should happen is when you dash, it should like definitely disable your input, so you shouldn't be able to slide. Us just finding bug after bug.
I'll be. I mean, what's the order? Order is dashing, then sliding.
Yeah.
Well, here we could just you just do not sliding.
Yeah, that I think that works.
Yeah, I don't think I can. Ah, crap.
Wave dashing, still in effect. Get good, boys. Get that melee.
Yeah, that's the one we're gonna have to put in as a bug. Oh, yeah. Wait, no. Silly me.
What happened?
I was supposed to put dashing. No,
oh, because we were in sliding. Okay, yeah.
Oh boy, hold on. Just gotta my back.
Yeah, I just cracked my back too.
Okay, I think we're good.
It's not doing it?
Nope.
Okay.
Just it's one or the other.
Good news.
Alright, so I guess we don't have to put them in as bugs if we fix them, right?
Cool. Hey, the more bugs we fix, the better.
I already wrote all 3 in the doc.
Cool. Nice. Fix the wave dashing. Nice. All right, let's then take a look.
Oh no, yeah, we don't have to worry about camera. Okay, cool.
I was gonna say now let's take a look at the camera bound.
Oh right. So what are you using?
Wait, what thing with the camera bounce?
So as of right now, if you look at the so can you just go into game and just press play?
Well, for one, I'm gonna show this.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, in a caves one, you see how the camera is snapped to the left edge there. You can't see like the gray part of the the background. Now, Alex, go up to the top right. Or is it fixed too? Okay, yeah. So what I did was this. So you see how here it's perfectly snapped to the right edge. Yeah. If you go from game view, I think that's what happened, right, Alex?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, if you go from game view,
let me just.
I guess something isn't being set.
Let me just.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there we go.
No worries.
So in game view,
how you can see just the like abyss on the right, where like you shouldn't see, because the player shouldn't see past the wall. So
like here,
we have to figure out the
What's happening is in camera or in this on this specific camera in Cave 1, you added a Cinemachine confiner, which is looking at level bounds, right? If we look at scene, it's that, right?
But we're not using that camera, right?
No, we're not. Yeah, no, we're not. We're not. But we.
So
what the idea is, just like how from spawn A, right? See here in.
Yep. I get it.
I think Cave 2 is probably a better example. Do we have a level?
Yeah. How Cave 2 has a spawn A, we'll create a bounds object per scene, and we'll pass that. Is that what you're getting at? Like that we pass spawn A.
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think we have to just wait for like an event somewhere. So for example, here we have level bounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
We could start by storing those bounds. No, we just have to. We don't have to set it to anything. This thing just needs to like on enable, pass it off, right?
Sure.
So what are we doing for spawn A? Spawn A, we're doing it on the spawn point controller.
Mm-hmm.
What was the reason for this? The reason is because spawn point is being stored like in the room manager.
Yeah.
So there's no way for us to reference it. Except for like creating a whole controller to like internally spawn point controller is sort of listening in on the actual spawning event, right?
Yeah.
Room manager spawning event. Level bounds doesn't really need to do that. Level bounds just because it doesn't spawn because there will be different spawns in a room, so it has to wait on its own spawn. It can't just they all can't say, hey, here I am, this is where players should go all at the same time, on start. This is a little different though. This one can. Via game event. So if we have action sequence controller and we let it trigger on start, it can just raise a game event, and then that can the camera can listen to that. Camera listens to game event, then it sees that this is pass through. What is pass through? It's a
polygon collider. Yeah.
Hold on, let me.
The way that the confiner works is it takes a polygon collider which you create yourself, and it just takes the VCam, the virtual camera, and just like maps those bounds. So then the player, like when they walk to the left, it'll confine them. So it won't do that thing where you just see into the abyss and see through walls and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So I have to create a game event that will pass it through as like a parameter. Which I did for transform, for player.
Sure, yeah, and I think that's fine.
Let me get transform, so I could just copy paste. No, I have
copy pasta. The way to live, to be honest. No. You gotta write your own code. But
Please
there are definitely times where a copy pasta is good for like basic stuff. Like I need a for loop that updates a value every second.
If it's very reusable and you understand it, copy pasta is good.
Exactly.
Then don't copy pasta, because then you're just doing yourself not a favor. You're just hurting yourself.
If Microsoft itself, put out this thing as like a thing that you should be doing, like because they do have code examples a lot in their documentation, then yeah, totally.
Well, yeah. that's like documentation. That's like documented examples.
Oh, I don't know why I did that. Hold on. It's Polygon Collider, not Player Collider. Polygon Collider.
So right now we're working on the camera bounds, correct?
Yep.
And
so we're trying to. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And I'm thinking after the camera bounds. So there's the thing with the scene transitions where if you go from cave 2 to cave 1, you're not like back
in the right place.
You're not in the right place. I don't know if you guys want to work on that next before we get to the health system.
I think that should be a quick.
I think we should because we know exactly why that's happening.
Okay, that's good.
What's happening right now from Caves 1 is we are using the action sequence controller to say when the player hits the scene transition, we are sending the name of the next scene, so Caves 2, and a spawn location, which is where the player will be. We aren't doing that from Caves 2 back to Caves 1, just because we didn't get to do it. So once we do that, it should be buttery smooth.
Okay, cool. So
buttery smooth.
All right, so we'll have a good amount of time to brainstorm the health system.
Totally. I think that by 7 about, we should be able to talk about the health system, and probably by 7:15 or so, we can start implementing that and seeing how we want that to work.
Yes, and half of that time can be you guys explaining to me the health system that you guys explained twice already. It's
no worries, man. No te preocupes. We got you, man.
On level on camera bound. On camera bounds?
Wait, what?
On camera bounds is on camera bounds initialized?
Or maybe on set camera bounds?
Yeah, that's fine. That's a good one. Oh, let me
add the S, yeah.
Or just replace it.
S. The event S.
Yeah, so here in level bounds we have a on-camera bounds. Okay. On-set camera bounds. We're gonna raise it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is on the level bounds, which is actions
you can just do that. Yeah, that's all. That's all this part needs to be doing.
Okay, and then what do you listen to this and set the actual thing? Yeah, back on the cam or
the camera, the game camera. This is scene 2, right? So this should work fine when we transition to scene 2. Scenes. The camera, and we have a what is it? Was it an extension? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it's like an extension thing. It's very interesting.
Did you have some sort of damping?
Can you check? I don't remember. I think I left everything just
as is.
As is, I think. Yeah, I left it as is, and all I did is dragged in the bounding shape.
So Quan, you did this on Caves 2, and we're just applying it to the other one.
I did it on Caves 1 and Caves 2. It's there right now, but I'll tell you what's happening. Because we want to load the scenes, right, in a more efficient way. Yeah. We've created a hub game scene that just adds scenes to it. So when we go to Caves 1, we are technically actually in the game scene, but we have loaded in the Caves 1 scene. So what's happening is we don't actually use the Caves 1 camera or the Caves 2 camera or player object, because back before we were just testing each level individually. Yeah. So in the future we'll remove those. So the reason it's not set is because we're using the camera from game, like the scene game, not the camera from Caves 1 or Caves 2, which has the bounds all set up. So now what we're doing is we're setting an event, so when the scene switches to Caves 1, for example, it will pass along the bounds object and or like fire an event for the bounds object to pass itself to our camera and set its bounds and stuff.
Understandable.
I think we're still gonna have to create a camera controller.
Okay, I think that's fine as well, just because I'm sure that when we deal with tilting and maybe like the pan camera. I remember we had that kind of thing in a Wake Up for the cutscene type thing. I think that a camera controller that can handle those kinds of things is not a bad idea.
You created this?
Oh wait, I have no wait. Who created this? Me?
It says
that. When did I make this?
I don't know. 44 days ago.
44 days ago. That's a month and change ago.
Yeah, that was the temporary player controller that you did like before we did our first stream.
I didn't even remember what. So what does this do? Start sets half height, half width. Okay, and I'll scroll down. Now what does update do?
Oh, was this how you were sitting? Oh, you were it was like a camera follow.
Yeah. That's what it was. This was dummy code, and I was just following the player very like haphazardly. But we can destroy this controller and redo it. Yeah, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what? What code is this?
Acquire component. Was a camera confiner 2D?
Yeah, camera confiner.
2D? Or was it Cinemachine confiner 2D? Find out.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think it's Cinemachine confiner.
Okay, that would make sense. I just don't remember off the top of my head.
Because I'm just like, there's like a Unity dock on it.
Okay, yeah, then that makes sense.
But it's for an older version of Unity, so
I think it's probably fine. They don't. I don't think Cinemachine does like huge changes in their documentation.
Okay,
Fine.
cool. No worries.
Did I do it wrong again? Oh, okay.
Also, just a heads up, there may be some beeping because I might be getting a delivery. So,
It's cool.
sorry.
that's not allowed, Quan. Sorry.
Or
Damn.
not.
You've brought shame.
Shame to my family. Shame on you. Shame on your cow.
Oh, that's
Damn,
fine.
bro. Not shame on my cow.
Is that from something?
Mulan, where I forget what Mulan does, but then Mushu was like, "Shame on you, shame on your cow," and like the whole thing. It's hilarious.
I totally remember now. Yeah.
So we have
it's just
confiner,
try a component.
Cinemachine confiner 2D, I assume.
Yep. Cinemachine confiner 2D.
I don't even know what this thing is. I'm looking it up right now. Or maybe you can describe it to me.
Yeah, I can explain. From what it's a big name for a
Actually, that does sound self-explanatory. Does it confine it to a certain area? Yeah.
Exactly. And so you pass it a polygon collider for bounds that you have to manually make. So like the way that I did it for the other two scenes, I manually dragged it to the four corners. But polygon colliders have 5 points no matter what, so you can't do anything about that. But I dragged it to the four corners of the level. You pop it in, and it handles it by itself. It just confines your camera so that you can't see anything else, which is very nice for when you're building a level. Like there are tons of things that might be outside of the viewable like area that are just part of the terrain though. Like if you look in Caves 1, there's some background images that bleed over outside of the walls, but they are needed because I can't cut up the image in Unity. So it just helps to give that a clean effect.
Right. Okay.
Unity is super powerful. Like, I mean, it makes sense. I remember when we first learned about Cinemachine, we were like, "Yo, this can do everything. It can do follow player. It can do the dead zone stuff. Now we can see it can do bounds." Whereas before, we were manually writing scripts to handle all that stuff, which is just no longer needed, you know?
Yeah, and like we're probably gonna have a number of cutscenes in this game as well. So
yeah, exactly.
Probably gonna utilize Cinemachine for that too.
Yep. That monster that is to come, which is a timeline. and a cutscene.
Oh, it can also be a composite collider. That's interesting.
Oh, interesting. As in...
tile map.
Oh, hold on. Interesting. Composite collider.
Composite collider on what?
The level bounds.
Yeah, the bounds, which means in that case, right? Maybe instead of having to create a level bounds object, every level in our game is going to have a tile map, right?
Why are there two
We could just pass the tile map, the overall ground tile map, which will in most cases be a square, and it should take care of itself then.
And just get the bounds. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like it'll just, because it's a composite collider and we do the outline, it'll just take the outmost outline and make that the bounds. Now, I'm sure it doesn't work perfectly, so we can stay with what we have now, but just a thought for the future.
Fair.
Okay, I guess that's fine. Yep, and then we just set camera bounds. That should just be it. Okay, cool.
And wait, where does it get? Oh, okay. On set camera bounds, it's gonna pass the polygon quantity. Okay, yep. Sounds good to me.
Maybe I should like make that like collider 2D next time. Oh, I guess it's fine. Yes, it worked.
I mean, it looks like it's working.
No, it did work. Well, for Cave 2, it works.
Nice wall jump there. Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
So I think
Cave 2,
that's exactly what we want, where you don't. Yeah, and you don't.
And that goes nowhere.
Yeah, that goes nowhere. That goes just into the abyss. What was I going to say? No, yeah, that's good. So
Cool.
I think, what time is it? It's 6:54, and that's finished. So I think that now we can talk about help.
Yeah, and that's great because this is a topic that will probably take more than one stream.
Yeah, we have to figure it, because I'm sure what we come up with now, we may fine tune and change it later on. That's how game development goes. But yeah. So.
Oh wait.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, yeah,
we got
yeah.
6 minutes before 7, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's put a spawn point in Cave 1.
Oh yes, that was what we were supposed to do.
Right.
Guy has a big brain here.
All right.
It's a little bigger today than it is normally.
Lol. Yeah. So let's put that spawn in Caves 1.
Oh yeah, that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to create a prefab out of this thing.
Yes, which is just, it's just a, yeah, exactly.
Wait.
And so just to explain, Chris,
oh, there it is.
So this is called Spawn A, right? The reason for that is because the approach that we're gonna take with spawning in every scene in our game, right?
Yep.
Wait, were you here last stream? No. Yeah, you weren't. Okay, so the approach that we're gonna take is, so for any given scene, you may have one or more entrance points, right?
Yes.
So, for example, in room A, you may be able to enter from the left, right, up, and down. So that's four entrance points. The way we're going to do it is we're going to use alpha naming, the alphabet naming scheme. So every scene will have a spawn A, spawn B, as many as it needs until it's done. They'll share the same name, and that's okay, because what we can do here is, when we change scenes, we will pass the scene you're going to. So what's happening now in Action Sequence Controller is, when you hit the transition, we send, hey, I'm in Caves 1, so where am I going? I'm going to Caves 2. And we send the spawn location, which is spawn A, which happens to be the one that's on the leftmost part of a Caves 2 scene. And that's how we'll do that. But the reason we were just doing it as spawn A is that we'll just be able to continually reuse the same like prefab object and call it spawn A in every scene. So even if you're in Caves 30, it can still be called spawn A because there's only one spawn A in Caves 30. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because the other way, when we were thinking about it, we would have had to create spawns for everything and have like spawn A1, A2, A3, and it just would have gotten so complex and much harder to build for us as well. So that's what we've done.
Here's what I'm gonna do with prefabs, right?
Sure. Yep.
There's gonna be a regular spawn prefab that you could use, anything, like you could use whenever, and you just, you have to actually set the spawn A, B, or C. And then I'm going to have like an actual spawn A prefab variant.
Okay.
Which means like if you know that this is spawn A, you just put that in there without having to worry about like picking.
Okay. All right. Sure. And so then I assume we will never have that many entrances to a room, so that we might have a spawn B, C, and D variant or something.
Yeah, but not really much more than that.
Yeah. The idea, Chris, is also that no room will have too many entrances because we don't want like spawn Z. You know what I mean? Like there are 26 entrances into a room. Like I don't even know what use case you have for that. So I think for right now we are thinking like at the most any room has four entrances or exits, which I think is fine.
I think the only use case I have for that is something I talked to Alex about, which would be kind of interesting to throw into this game if we wanted to.
Sure, yeah.
If we were to recreate something along the lines of like the Lost Woods.
Even then you're okay because the Lost Woods, right, only ever has 4 entrances or exits. It's just that.
Oh yeah, I know. That's if there's 4. But I'm just saying, like we can. Really
I get you. Okay, yeah.
We can go really. We can really go insane with it.
Yeah.
Like it might not just be like one room that brings you back to the same room. Like,
got it. So I see you are a mean person and you want to labyrinth the players. Got it.
Right, because in the Lost Woods, like if you let's say you took the right path, like for like 5 rooms in a row, but then you went to the wrong room, you're back in the beginning.
Back at the beginning, yeah.
So there could be like 30 different ones that bring you back to spawn A in the beginning.
You are a savage. I
agree.
But let's make that a later part of the game, if anything, because the Lost Woods is fairly like early and it's not too bad. I will definitely be stressed out when we are eventually dealing with
I first encountered that in like the original Legend of Zelda. I don't know if you remember that.
Not off the top of my head, no.
No, it's a very simple version of the Lost Woods. It is. I'm pretty sure it's called the Lost Woods, but it's a similar concept.
Sure, yeah.
A young lad,
for sure.
And it stuck with me. And then when I played Ocarina of Time, it was like, okay.
Yeah, I'm currently playing Majora's Mask 3D.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I actually never beat the game, so
I never did either. Surprisingly,
it is just as hellish as they say. Like compared to Ocarina of Time, it is so much more dark, dude.
Majora's Mask gave me anxiety as a child, and that's how
it's giving me anxiety now. Like it's so intense, bro. Like the clock is just moving, and I'm like, wait for me. It's like, nah, bro.
It's
3
like,
days.
It's like time exists. The world is ending.
Yeah, it's like you better get on it, Link, and Link is here just freaking out.
You got 8-year-olds playing this in the 90s. Like, why are you doing this to us?
to show you the world is a cruel place from young. Alex, what are you testing out?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What's going on? Oh, it works.
Yeah, no, I figure in Cave 1, this is going to be spawn B because there's like an entrance here.
I figured that was going to be spawn A actually. The only reason being that one on the left there, I was figuring was going to be a secret. Like once you get the double jump or wall jump, you can go back there. So in my head, it would be B because it's not the like main entrance. I think that I was following our draw.io. I think that this room here is the first one. Let me change my camera. Is the first one in the like tutorial place. But you can come back here later and go to the left after you get some extra abilities to get like something else.
Right. So like we would start in the bottom left frame, and you see how you originally can't jump up there if you don't have like a wall jump or a double jump.
Exactly. So in my head that would be spawn B, and the one that you have a spawn B would be spawn A.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it hard to change that? Oh no. Okay.
I don't know. So what is this? Spawn. This is spawn B.
Yep.
We have prefab for spawn A now. Spawn A-ish. Let's put that back where this was supposed to be.
Yep.
Like
That's
right here.
perfect.
And then,
Yeah.
well, the one thing you have to make sure to do, in case that you... Whoa! What we got? What did we get today? We got a follow. Thank you for the follow, Inner Bunny.
Inner Bunny. Is it supposed to be a play on
Energizer?
Energizer
Yeah,
Bunny?
I knew it.
It seems like
Yeah.
it.
Thanks a lot.
For the follow, you are helping us to get to that 100 follower goal. Thank you so much.
What was their slogan?
Yep,
Keeps on
okay.
going.
Awesome.
Is that what it is?
I don't remember the Energizer Bunny slogan, but
oh yeah. So just to before I lose my thought, you just have to make sure you're setting the appropriate spawn point object. So in this case, just A. If this goes to A, then you have to make sure that A is set. That's all. This might have to be a. We may have to turn this into a prefab as well at some point.
Yeah, I think that scene transitions should. I think that we could do that now. Because is there anything else that we need? Because I think it'll be much easier for us to just be able to just like drag them into the scene as needed, and that'll be that. Nice.
No, I don't think so. I mean, when I set a prefab, I just have to make sure certain things aren't set.
Sure, yeah. So like here, we don't want those to be set, right? We want those to be empty.
Yeah, we just none it. We just none this. Like we can still have these going.
Yeah. And then I think this is perfect. And then we can just call it scene transition.
Prefab. Yeah, just scene transition is probably fine.
Yeah.
Then we just reset these back to cave 2.
Cool.
And spawn point A.
Nice. Sounds good. Yeah. Now that's easy for us as we build up more rooms in the coming weeks. We'll be able to just it'll be easy. Like we'll be moving from room to room in a no time flat.
Yeah, we may have to do some organization here, but we can make those stories. Like we could definitely
Sure.
Okay, now finally.
Now one last thing I was gonna ask real quick. Do we want to change the timing of the crossfade? But that could wait for later, to be honest.
That one is a simple thing. It's just changing the animation. Because,
the animation.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Because since our loading is very fast, I don't think we need to commit to a full second. Because I've been playing this. I started Ori. My partner got me Ori for Christmas.
That's so nice. Yes.
I got it a bit early, so I started Ori, and
Which one? The Blind Forest?
Blind Forest, the first one, yeah.
It's beautiful.
But yeah, so like the loads between rooms are very quick. I think there's no need for us to commit to a second. I think that players enjoy those snappy load times. So I say if we can cut it to 0.5. I think that'll be golden. Then it's a whole second in total, and I think that's just fine.
TacNode said you bought it before the winter sale. Rip.
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, that game deserves all the money.
All the money that it could get. Yeah.
That's how I justify these things. Like
that's true.
Especially when they're indie games. I love paying full price because I'm like, I want to support you so much. I don't want to wait for no sales.
I think that like Hollow Knight as a game has so much content. Like the fact that game is like $20 or something, I'm like, nah, bro.
It's less than that. It's like $12. It's worth like $40. To be honest, it really is.
I'm telling you, I've played AAA games with less content, and so now this is not supposed to be a jab at Metroid Dread. I don't know if either of you have beat Metroid Dread.
No. I still haven't beat it.
It is a great game.
I know.
But the overall story and the whole game is about, even with 100%, I 100%ed everything in the game. I got every item. Took me about 12 hours. Maybe 15 if you take your time more, fine. And that isn't a bad thing to me. But I look at Hollow Knight and I'm like, it had a larger world, and I still didn't 100% it, and I put like 60 hours in.
Yeah, so
that game.
Hollow Knight has a larger world. It has like more established lore. It actually has like characters you could interact with. Like The Metroid games generally, it's
you're
like
alone.
it's really just like you're on your own.
Yeah,
you know.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's nothing against Metroid Dread. I think that could be a $60 game, but it's more of a case that like Hollow Knight should definitely get a 40 for all that content they put in. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But Ori is a good game. I didn't beat it. I can't beat any games.
How's that, by the way?
Can't.
How's this one? I just went to the animator and increased the speed, so we didn't have to do much on the. I increased the speed by 2. I can try by 3.
Let's see how it looks with 3. It may be too fast, but let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
It feels somewhat jarring almost. It's weird because the crossfade, like you almost don't see it. It's super quick. Let me see.
How's that?
I think that's fine.
2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 is like essentially like if we were to make it 15 frames rather than.
Yeah.
What was it at 1?
Yeah, 1.
Yeah, 1. 1 is like 30 frames.
I
Try
like
1.5.
Yeah, try 1.5.
1.5?
Yeah, so it's not super like fast, but you can still get the effect of the fade out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see how that looks. I'm okay with 1.5 as well. 2 or 1.5.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent. I think that 1.5. I feel like it's a nice breathing room. Like you can take a nice breath in between that 1.5. 2 maybe a bit fast. Again, it's something that's easy to change. I say 1.5 for right now.
Let's do it.
All right. So now that we're done with that, it is 7:09. Health.
Yeah, talk about it. I'm gonna get water.
Sure. Once he's back, we have a little image that we can show. I don't know if he can show it actually, unless he downloads it. But the way we were thinking about health is in a few ways. So we can handle health in many ways. So many games follow, other games and add a little twist. But effectively, you have health where you have health almost out of 100. Something like Metroid, where you have like 99 health, and each thing of damage may do a various amount of damage. So
you have hit points. You have hit points.
You have hit points, and enemies do different amounts of damage. So maybe one enemy takes 30, one enemy takes 50, one enemy takes 80, one enemy takes 5.
Yeah.
Or the other way is you treat it like a Hollow Knight or a Mario or a Zelda, where you have hearts. And now in Zelda, different enemies do different amounts of damage, and that's fine, but you have a certain amount of hits you can take, but not in the same way as hit points. It's usually less than 100. It's more so like each enemy will do 1 slot of damage, no matter what enemy it is.
One to. Sorry, I'm thinking Hollow Knight, where some enemies do like 2.
Exactly. So I was gonna say in Hollow Knight, you have 5 masks of health or 5 hearts or whatever you want to call it. On average, every enemy does 1. Some enemies do 2, and stronger enemies can do 3, like big bosses and super bosses and stuff like that. And can you pull up that little piece of dinky art that I had to draw? All right, cool. So
it's nice. It's nice.
Thank you. So the 2 ways that I was thinking about how to handle health is, so on the top you have 5 hearts, for example, and I drew a little circle. I cut it up into little shard thirds, and I was thinking maybe you collect 3 shards, right? And that gives you 1 heal to restore some amount of hearts. I put X because maybe it's 1, maybe it's 2, so we're nicer to the players, etc. And as you defeat enemies, or maybe you find some secrets, you get more shards. And once you have 3 again, you can then heal hearts again. The other way to do it is you have a certain amount of, to make it a bit tougher, you can limit their heals between rest points. So let's say at the beginning of the game just starts, they have 3 shards, and each one heals, let's say, 1 heart. You can use all 3 of these, but once you use all 3, you won't get another way to heal until you hit a rest point, which will then refill all 3. And as you go through the game, then maybe you have 4 shards, 5 shards, 6 shards, and then you have more healing opportunities in between your rest points. So that's what I was thinking in terms of the 2 ways to deal with a healing, but what do you both think?
Okay, so you're saying for the second one that you start off with 3 shards, and each shard is kind of like a med kit sort of.
Yep. It's a potion. It restores one heart.
It restores 1 heart, but it doesn't restore all your health, right?
No. It is a 1 heart.
Okay,
thing.
So it's not like a med kit.
Well, it could very well be that there may be upgrades at some point, right? Where we could like one will do 2, or one will do 3, right. Depending, or you may have more shards. We could. It really depends on how players play, but there are games out there that do stuff like that. Like, either you can have more health or you can have more shards. Really, I guess gameplay is a little different, whichever one you choose. Personally, I like the one on the bottom, just because it kind of gives that challenge. It sort of makes players have to, keep in mind how many they have and where resting points are.
Yep.
It's like, oh, can I make it to this point? And like I mentioned it before when we were discussing it, but that's kind of like Dark Souls, right? Where you have like this Estus flask that can restore your health, but you only have a certain amount of it, and they only replenish once you get to a bonfire.
Yeah, exactly.
Along with your health, of course. There are ways to get more of them via multiplayer, but for the most part, we're not going to have multiplayer on our game.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you get the shards?
You just have
in my head, it's like from the start of the game. It can be a lore aspect. It can be like, for each of the people in this world or whoever the player is, we were able to get you 3 of these, but like make sure you use them wisely, because only at restoration crystals in the world can you recharge the shards, right? Okay. Something like that. And so you'll have them by default, but because they can only be recharged at a revitalization or whatever thing we call it, a rest point, you only have those 3 until you make it to the next one. I also prefer the bottom one, but that I think it increases the challenge. The only thing is that we have to make sure that we put rest points reasonably close to each other, not super close where it's like, okay, it's a 15 seconds of gameplay between two rest points, but it also shouldn't be a half hour or 15 minutes or like a really tough boss between 2 rest points. We can do that at times. I think that's fine, but not all the time. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, I think as someone who like plays games that have a lot of these things, and I always bring up Ender Lilies, but there's always times where I'm just going to the level. I'm just like, it's the very moment where I'm thinking like, where's the next sort of rest point? That one appears. I think that's a pretty, like, feel-wise, I think that's a pretty good way to gauge whether there should be a rest point at this point.
Yeah, and I think that would be a lot of playtesting. So as we create the enemies, the bosses, and make things, hard and stuff, as we play through, we'll be able to get a feel, the more we play, like, all right, this was a tough amount of, like, battling, and I only have, like, maybe 2 hearts left. I could really use a rest point, and when we get that feeling through playtesting, that's when we'll be like, all right, let's put a rest point there.
I feel like we shouldn't only limit it to rest points.
Okay.
Just for, like, in terms of difficulty for the players.
Here's an idea. Oh, I was gonna say, so what if you can only restore all 3 at a rest point, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But maybe in between any 2 rest points, you get maybe 1 extra, like 1 mini recharge station that instead of refilling all 3 shards, it refills 1, so you get 1 extra heal.
So you guys don't like the idea of being able to, like, get shards from enemies?
I'm okay with that, but I prefer the harder, like, It's tough because I'm fine with that, which is why I put the option at the top there. But I prefer the more challenging style of a gameplay where you have to like get good, and so you can't heal until you've got through some challenge. But maybe there's an in between here. Let me think. An in between.
In terms of game design, yeah, I wouldn't want to turn like people away who aren't like incredibly experienced with like, I don't know, platformers, Metroidvanias, because that might be a little too hard. So they're like, I don't know, like I do like the idea of like you can only refill all of them at like a heal, like a rest point.
Sure.
But there's still opportunities to like regain some of it in between.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, and I think that's exactly why we have this conversation. Yeah, there can be an in between because what me and Alex are saying is in fact very tough. Like we will implement this, and me and Alex will die before we get to a rest point.
Absolutely, 100%.
Which is, but again, that can happen. So I'm gonna say maybe this is a difficulty thing. Maybe we on normal difficulty, maybe there's a percentage chance that you get a shard from an enemy, right? But there's a max amount of that. So, for example, between two rest points, right? Let's say that there's a X% chance, or even better, ignore the chance part. Let's say between two rest points, 3 enemies, which are randomized, will have a health shard. Which means you can get an extra 3 heals, which means a total of 6. If you kill all the enemies or kill the enemies, you'll get those extra shards. On other difficulties, we can reduce that from like down by 1 down to 0. So maybe in like a harder difficulty, it's like, okay, only 1 extra shard in between 2 rest points. And on a harder one, there are none. You just only have your 3, and you have to make it till the next rest
I'm cool
point.
with that. I'm honestly like that sounds fine. Like, you know, I know Hollow Knight doesn't necessarily have difficulties, or other games they tend to not really have those. I think that for accessibility purposes, you know, I think it's probably best that we do have different levels of difficulty, like you just said. I definitely want one where there is no.
Yeah, and Hollow Knight has two difficulties. Only 2. Oh, okay. It's normal game, which is already tough.
I know what you're talking about.
And then steal mode, where you literally can't take a hit. Like you can take hits.
You can't die. It's permadeath.
If you die,
it's permadeath. Yeah, it's like rogue gameplay. It's rogue.
Yeah, it turns it from a Metroidvania to a roguelike Metroidvania. Yeah. So I think that even that is fine if we go in between. So maybe we say this: you have 3 shards, right? Maybe you can enemies only have extra 2, and then in the next difficulty up, they're 0 and rest in peace and GG and get good.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's good.
Techno, by the way, says you can make a journalist difficulty. Does that mean easy or does that mean very hard?
Yeah, what does that mean? But that in my head, that means the easy one, because I noticed that in games they have like I want to experience the story, you know, and you want to just like get through the story beats and the basic ideas of the gameplay without having to like grind and do all the crazy stuff like in like Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts and stuff. Fair.
You're right, Chris. We don't want to alienate those yeah,
players. Because the reviewers will, you know, they're going to be the journalists who are going to want to play it like, I'm here for the toughest nails like magazine, and I'm playing it on no health difficulty, and people who are like, I'm reviewing the game to see if it's fun. I just want to get through it in a bit.
Needs to pump out reviews ASAP, so they got to play.
Exactly. Yes. So exactly. They play on super easy. Yeah.
That's a good.
I get that.
One.
That makes sense. That's good advice.
Yeah, that's good advice for sure. Thanks, Techno.
Okay. Well.
So what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Yeah. Go ahead,
to continue this conversation. What were we thinking of the shard to heart ratio as you go throughout the game? So I imagine that you could upgrade your hearts, your shards as you go.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah. Go ahead.
That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, what I was thinking is that we have a ratio where like it's more hearts and less shards, or more shards and the same hearts. And by that I mean, as the game goes, maybe you have like a heart container style thing, right? Where in Zelda you get more hearts. So let's say by the end of the game you can have 10 hearts, right?
Yeah.
And maybe 5 shards.
Okay.
Or if you want to keep it where the player has to manage their heals more to add some difficulty in that way, you be like, all right, maybe max you can have is 10 shards, but you always keep 5 points of health. So you have to be better and more like tactical with your healing. That's just 2 ways to go about it. Or the way to make it a bit easier on the player is you do both, where you know, like the first one I said, where you go like 10 hearts and 6 shards, so now you can take more damage and you can heal more.
I think a pretty good one is probably like you said, have more hearts than shards.
I agree.
I think you said that, right? But
yeah.
But like the hearts probably is something that I'm gonna call them slots, because
sure, because I'm the one to use hearts. Yeah, a slot. You could probably like level that up more, or gain more slots over time. You know, hook them out like you said. 10. Yeah.
But I feel like shards should be a little bit like getting like increasing your max amount of shards should be a bit of more of a like you really have to seek that out.
Like that's a challenge.
That was a challenge.
Like
challenge. You know, like, oh, here's your health, but you know, if you're having trouble with things, you may want more heals, and in order to do that, you either there's like different ways to go about it. Either you have like if we have the idea of having different sort of equipment, right? Or you know, colonized charms, whatever it may be. Maybe those things can influence that.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like, you know, oh, you have this one on, then you know you get an extra shard.
Yeah, exactly.
However we do it, you know, in that case it's a little limited, because most likely they have to use some sort of equipment slot to use that, therefore sacrificing something else. I like that type of stuff, because it you know, they really have to choose their style, like what they want to sacrifice, what they want to.
It's like in Hollow Knight with the charms,
but the hearts,
charm build.
The hearts, just like Ender Lilies has its own way of doing it, but you know, there are things you can do to level that up. Usually, it's finding another. You know, for Hollow Knight was masks, finding masks, secrets or store. Ender Lilies, it's I think it's finding. I don't want to spoil that one, but it's similar.
Got it.
Usually after a boss fight in some way.
A boss, yeah. I was gonna say we can take that trope from other games, which is fine. Hollow Knight does it. Metroid does it. Zelda does it. The pieces thing to get an extra whatever. So we could be like, maybe you get more heart. Let's say you get so the way that Zelda works is you can either get hearts from a boss, you get a heart container, or you get 4 heart pieces and you get an extra heart. In Hollow Knight, it's same thing with mass. There's mass shards and soul vessel shards or whatever. We can also do, so maybe instead of calling these 3 shards, maybe we call them gems. And in the world, you have to get, let's say, 3 shard fragments to create a gem. And if you do that, which will be behind some tough like enemies and platforming, you can then get a new gem to heal yourself. That I think that also works, because it encourages the exploration, because we'll hide the shard fragments in good places, and it incentivizes you to get them because you want as many heals as you can get, right?
Wait, but the gems are still like usable they're still used to heal yourself, right? To restore your health.
Yeah. So I'm saying, the way that I call them 3 shards here, I'm saying maybe instead of calling it shards, let's call them gems as the thing that heals you. And to get like a 4th gem for healing, you need to collect maybe 3 gem shards. And once you get that, it'll create a new healing like gem, and now you have 4, for example. And then the player can like go and explore the world for that, and then that will they'll get more hearts as they go through the game, and they'll get more gems as they explore and like work hard for it.
Okay.
But then what you said, Alex, can come into play too. Like there can be equipment as well, where maybe a player's like, I don't want to go and do all the exploration for every single shard.
I mean, it could very well be like we could, I think we could like do something like chalking it up to how much space you have in your let's say shard storage. Like
Sure,
say
fair enough.
you get a bigger bag or something like that.
No,
Like
yeah.
that could be a bigger pocket. Like your pocket's just like 5 inches deeper.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
That's just an example, but
no,
it could be something like that.
What you mean.
This way we kind of like, each one kind of gets its own sort of like mechanic in people's head. So like hearts, you get that from the environment. This one, like very specific equipment helps with that one. Does that make sense? However, doesn't have to be decided in one go. We could play around with these ideas and see which one is more fun. And at some point there's gonna be a whole lot of play testing. And
we will about betas and be like, is it too hard? Is it too easy? Yeah.
That's another thing. Yeah, we have to see like people are starting to subscribe to us. Maybe like really giving them like an early sort of like release. Early releases would be a great idea, so they can get their hands on.
I think so.
Stuff.
I think that once we get just enough of just the arcades done and the ability tracker, our game is playable enough. And once we get the kill zones and stuff, our game is playable enough that they should be able to jump around with the early abilities like just jumping and sliding and running. That we should allow them to just see how it feels. Is it too slow paced? Is it too fast paced? Is it too hard? And as we add the health and the gems, we can put enemies in and stuff, and then say, is it too hard? Is it too easy? I think that's fine.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. Since I think this is not so, I mean, we could start implementing though, right?
I think that we can do the basics of just like slots or whatever, or just calling it like health points or whatever we call it.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have to like. I mean, we're about to get a little codey here, right?
I was gonna say, I don't think we have the time necessarily or the images yet to really add a UI yet. Yeah. I think that can come a bit later, but we can definitely start going into the code design of that. So how do we could
definitely use like Zelda hearts for now if we just wanted.
If you want, you can go for it. I mean, pass me them assets.
I'm sure we have them in. You know what? Let me check. Do we have anything in art right now that works like that? Let me see, because I feel like we ported over a lot of random assets. I could be wrong though. Oh no, we don't. Or maybe we do. Sorry, let me check real quick.
The easy thing about this is it's all integers. It's my favorite part of it.
It's just
the representation
subtraction
of the
and
heart
adding.
slots,
That's the better thing about, because in Wake Up we had a life out of 100.
Yeah.
Which again, it's still integers, but in this case, it's like it never goes more than 10. It's very easy to manage. Like, the boss does 3, like 10 minus 3 is 7. Done, easy.
Or it's also very easy to like see, like, it's very easy to give a number to things that damage the player.
Exactly.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, instead of being 100 and it does 15 damage, it is 10 and it does 1.
Do attacks only like take like 1 slot, 2 slot, like?
Yeah, so I think that the average enemy in most cases of our game will do 1 slot. We can have stronger enemies that do 2, and I think maybe.
What about 1.5?
I think that because it's slots, I don't think halves.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking about Zelda. I'm just thinking about Zelda with the hearts.
Oh, I see what you mean. No, I think slots would be.
I prefer the slots. Yeah,
the whole slot.
One hit is 1 heart.
Okay.
The reason similar to like Hollow Knight, for example.
Yeah, the reason I prefer it is because it I don't know. Like I think like it's visually easier for a
I
player
agree.
to like have to keep in mind like, oh, this is how many hits I can take before I go down. So for me it's always been like this is how this, like say I have 5 for this boss fight. I know I can sacrifice 2, without
Yeah.
some
No, yeah.
quick math, but
Yeah, as in like if it's
it's
single,
intuitive.
if each heart or like in Hollow Knight, for example, it's similar. One hit does one mask, and so the math in your head while you're playing is easy. So you can go, I can take 5 hits. That's it. Outside of healing, I can take 5 hits. Well, what happens in Zelda, which isn't an issue, but just is harder to calculate as you're playing, is some enemies do quarter hearts, some enemies do like half hearts, and some do one or more hearts. So sometimes when you're fighting an enemy, you are not very sure if you can take the next hit. You're like, do they do 2.5 hearts or what? Whereas if they always do 2 hearts, it's easier for that math. And so
Oh,
I
and
agree that.
in Breath of the Wild, like you can get
Oh yeah,
completely
in Breath of the
knocked
Wild,
out.
they are savages because Lionels are like, yeah, I hit you for 20 hearts,
20
and I'm like,
hearts.
bro, I'm at max. Like why am I still getting wrecked?
But then you could just like pause and eat like an entire meal.
It's the funniest thing because of the animation. He's like mid-air flying back, and he's just like, and then just full health as he still falls and like hits the ground. That's the funnest part of Breath of the Wild, just being able to do everything in the pause, pause.
Yeah. So I'm imagining the health slots kind of like Ori, to be honest, or like Hollow Knight, because both of them, it's basically what you guys said. Like if you take a hit, you lose a whole slot, right?
Yeah, exactly. You just take one slot of damage. Max health slots is 1.
I guess we should start with like 3.
Yeah, I think maybe 3 or 5 is a good place.
Yeah, sorry. When I create the state controller,
You always default to the ones and the.
In my case, I guess 3 is a fine number. The reason I did 1 is because when I create state controller, it's not just for player. It is definitely also going to be like an enemy.
Oh, okay, got it.
It's just
okay,
that
no.
you just don't
So
see it.
1 is good then. Yeah, you can put 1. So what Alex is getting at is that this state controller for health. Why'd you call it state controller?
This is where I'm gonna put states, like
States,
your state of your health, state of the things.
Okay, got it. Can we? I feel like state controller makes you think of a state machine. But so maybe can we rename that later? But anyway,
No, the other reason is because I intend to put other things in here, not just
that aren't just health.
Yeah, like
Okay.
you know how we're doing a lot of like is running, is dashing.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna do some weird wacky stuff.
Okay, got it. And move it in here and just control different states from here. Okay.
Yeah, you maybe using a dictionary so that it's kind of like something outside of state controller, maybe something that inherits from state controller is indicating through a dictionary or a mapping, like this key is running. It's supposed to be true or false.
Sure. Okay.
This way, it's all under one. Rather than having different variables, it's all under one data structure.
Yeah, sure. I think that makes sense. And so then the reason that you're starting it as at 1 is because this can apply to not just the player, but enemies, bosses, and whoever.
Yeah, I mean,
got it. Yeah,
for testing purposes, we may not want to give them all like 3.
3 health. Yeah, I think that like many enemies may be just be a weak fodder that take 1 hit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. So what do we actually want to do with this controller right now?
I think what we want to do. What time is it? 36. I think we want to do is just set up a basic way to increase health, decrease health.
Okay.
And then if we can get this on the player, maybe we can just add the kill zone collider, which I think might already be there on the little spikes that we have there. That will probably change, but we might be able to just have that fire an event that says 1 slot decreased, and maybe create a quick respawn. Now that might be a lot. So maybe not. So maybe we're just
no,
trying to see
maybe. No, that would be cool.
Yeah, I don't think it's that far-fetched. So yeah.
Okay.
Something like this. Apply slots.
Is it gonna bother you if I knowingly want it to be, because we're using health slots and max health slots? Can we use health slots change, health slots increase, health slots? Okay.
Oh yes, yeah, no, you're right. You're totally right. That was. Yeah, health slots. That makes sense.
Cool.
The slots alone is not.
Yeah.
That's my bad. I forgot.
It's all good.
No, it's not. My bad.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's not.
It's all good.
That's it. It's terrible. It's not good.
For shame, Alex. For shame.
Thank you. I deserve all of that. Health slot amount. Okay, so apply health slot can be either or. That's how I'm going about it.
Yep. And
so
wait, apply health slot. What is the intention of apply health slot?
It could increase or decrease.
Oh, so it's apply. Oh, like applying
or,
either of the two.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So can you put a comment over this that like increases or decrease? Yeah, applies or whatever you want.
Change to
health slots.
Health.
And maybe just put like a plus / minus, and I think that we'll understand that means like increase or decrease.
Oh, hold on. I don't know if I could. No. That's a word thing. Yeah. I was gonna put the word symbol, like a plus and minus below it.
Oh, yeah, got it.
Is that just a word thing?
I don't know, but I say just leave it like this.
Okay. Yeah, here we're gonna do a little maths.
Yeah, we're gonna do math f dot clamp. Okay, all right.
We're gonna do health slots plus health slot amount 0 and max slots. Does that make sense to you guys?
What is each parameter of a clamp represent?
Clamp is value.
Yeah, the value to a clamp, right? No, okay. Sorry. It takes value.
Let's say 0 to 100. You put value as 101. It's gonna bring it down to 100.
Okay, and so wait. So the first thing is the value, the thing that you want to clamp. The second one is the lower is the min. So the max amount of health.
So the min and the max. Okay.
Yeah. So 0 and max. And the reason he's using plus here, even though you can do a decrease, is because if you add a negative, it's the same as subtracting.
Thank you.
No worries. Because I know that back when I was first learning code and stuff, I'm like, well, if you're gonna subtract 2, why are you only adding? But yeah.
So when it's when the value is greater than 0, we're gonna do an invoke of health slots increased. The reason we do this, the reason why I made 3 separate events is because health increase is going to sort of give us the opportunity to maybe play an animation that it's just like so we could trigger an animation that is like a healing animation, a damage animation. Health slots change is really so that we can know the new number.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Which can go over to like some other controller that like specifically UI. So that's what that is.
Cool.
We can also use for example, we can have another one that like health slots like depleted. Yeah,
I was gonna say the same thing. So instead of creating one called on death, we have increase, decrease, changed, and empty, which means empty is just dead.
I think that's a good one.
To create a like death event in this controller, which really doesn't need that. Empty will just be dead. Health slot, because we're using the.
If you want to stick with the same verbiage.
Do you want to use depleted?
I like depleted.
I like depleted too. Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we're gonna do. What are we gonna do?
We need else if.
Yeah. Health amount is less than 0.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna do health slots. Invoke.
Not less than 0. I think you put.
It should be 0. No.
No. Sorry, this one. It's the parameter, not the actual health slots.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, if the amount that we're, yeah, I get it. So if it's if the health slot amount is greater than 0, then we are increasing their health. If it is a negative, we are decreasing their health.
I got you.
And regardless, we do health slots dot invoke, and this one is going to be
health amount. Health slots. Okay, got it.
Because we're just giving the updated value of, right?
For the UI, if eventually, yep. And then
if health slots is 0, we're gonna do
health slots depleted dot invoke.
And then on the what do you call it? For this event, right? We can then. What the hell do I call it?
Yeah, why is it? Oh, we didn't put the underscore.
Oh yeah, no, we don't because it's.
Oh no, yeah,
yo, what's up? That was a weird noise I made. Thank you for the follow, Sludge Duck.
Thanks, Sludge Duck. I appreciate it. Thanks for the follow. We are at 78-22.
It's really funny when Alex always gets like freaked out when there's some type
it's in my ear.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
very funny.
Follow?
Very funny.
And he's like, oh, okay, awesome.
Very
thanks.
funny. But thank you for the follow. We appreciate it.
Because Streamlabs is like on the behind.
Yeah,
so
I got it.
I'm just like, it's kind of like a little like it's like a little present. It's like, what is it today?
Yeah, I got it. Cool.
Oh, and if let me see. I think we may want to keep the track of that, right?
Keep track of what?
Private pool health depleted.
Okay.
So
yeah, that could be useful.
If health depleted, I think. And we don't want to do this anymore. And then public void reset lots. This is just
max health slots equals max health slots, yeah.
Crap, caps lock. Max health slots. And I think we could just set.
Factoid, we're passing a negative number for decrease again because that is the number that's going to be like subtracted. So, if we're passing a positive number, then that means that the health is being increased. If we pass a negative number, that means that the health is being decreased. So like if you take damage, you want to pass a negative number.
Yeah, so instead of doing it where we're doing like this does 10 damage, we're saying this subtracts your thing by 10 or by 1 because these are slots. So
it's more of a also a convenience because we're going to be calling this function from the editor side, and it's easier to have one point where we call to make all these changes rather than 2 different points.
Yep.
I mean, we could. It's fine.
I say let's leave it for now because I think what you're saying is true. Because what might happen is, again, human error. As we build the events, the game gets larger. We may miss and create a bug where we say this enemy increases your health by 1 instead of putting the decrease event or something, and then we'll be like, why is it going up? We will figure it out, of course, but in this case, we more so care about just, is it adding 1 or is it subtracting? And this will take care of it in one method that we can call everywhere.
I think I could just apply these. Hold on. I added that. I added the listener. Cinemachine confiner, that's fine. We can keep it the way it is. Is there what is? Oh, because we're following player. I don't know if we can do that one.
We might need to. Yeah, we might need to. I mean, I guess we will have cases where we want to follow something else, maybe. So maybe we don't.
I won't. Yeah, cool thing about this overrides thing, I could apply individually.
Yeah, this is very nice.
I don't have to apply the transform
but you commit per file almost.
Because we're not going to apply the transforms. We don't need to do that. And we don't need to. Yeah, we don't need to. We're good here. I just want to make sure
Also,
that.
Techno, did the explanation make sense? Like, understand why we're passing the negative for decreasing?
Yeah, just in general, if anything we're describing makes absolutely no sense and you want any clarification, just go ahead. Because sometimes this stuff can be very complex and convoluted. Like, I find myself confused sometimes. I just, I let these guys just go at it sometimes. And it's like, all right, I'll figure it out after like 10 minutes.
Okay, so here we have, this is what, right now this is actually, these should be, what do you call it? Is trigger? The spikes?
Yep.
Right, okay.
Or no, because we don't want the player to fall through them. That's what happened before, because that happened in a Wake Up 2. We don't want the player to fall through, because if it's a trigger on the kill zone, they will just go right through. What we want to do maybe is, it's weird. We want to, yeah, it's tough. What we did in Wake Up, which won't work here necessarily, is we use the whole collider. They'll touch the top of the spikes, but never go into the spikes. Same with what happened in the lava No, sorry.
No, it's because we're stopping.
Yeah, you're right. So then we do want it to be a trigger, I guess. I guess if it's like lava or something, it should be a trigger because you fall into lava, but if it spikes, you kind of like go onto the spikes. But yeah, it's tough.
It depends. Sure. I mean, we could do it as we go, right?
Yeah, and so tech node.
Hold on. I mean, go ahead.
So we're doing that. So tech node. It's easier for later on because we'll have tons of events in the editor like later down the road, and we will have to remember to always say, okay, for this one it's increased, for this one it's decreased, and at some point we may make a mistake and put the wrong one. Again, it's not a big mistake. Like there's nothing wrong with doing it the other way, but in this case, it'll always be the same event that we'll have in the editor, and all we're doing is saying if it adds anything, it's a positive number. If it subtracts any health from the player, it's a negative, or from the boss, or whatever the case is. So it'll be easier for us to remember what is doing damage and what is not, just based on the sign of the number. Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
I didn't say anything.
No, sorry. I see that you're doing stuff. So. So what's going on?
It's more like
just
go, Alex. Kind of like that.
Oh God. Oh God.
This guy.
Hyping me up. That's what you guys are doing. Thank you.
I mean, sure.
So I added state controller.
Yep. This is on the player.
I set max health. I was just thinking of how we're gonna do it. We don't want. I mean, for the now. I mean, we got 10 minutes. Here's what we're gonna do for the now.
Okay.
We're gonna add like a UI.
Okay.
We're gonna say, I don't know, text
Pro
box.
or sure.
Oh, it's because why is it adding to? We need to add a new canvas. That's what it is, right?
It should create its own canvas, but maybe
no, because Crossfade is canvas. That's
okay. So it just did it by default. Yep.
How do we what are the settings? It's screen space camera. That's what Crossfade is.
Yeah, because we only want it to render on the camera. That's what we.
Yes. You're right. You're right. Totally right.
Yeah, in most cases we want canvas to be screen space camera so that it follows where the camera is and stuff. Yeah.
And before we were using UI Toolkit, and I think we should still at some point use UI Toolkit, but I think for prototyping purposes, it's probably better we don't.
Yeah, I agree. And also,
still be very buggy.
I'm okay with a UI toolkit, or I think that UI toolkit came in handy a lot for the menuing. I'm not opposed to using the standard UI for like health and stuff and like the health gems, just because it's not a complex piece of a UI. The menus though, where they get more complex and more stuff goes on, I think that UI toolkit does have the advantage there in terms of the customization, because we can really go into the UI side.
I think it's gonna have to depend, like you said. But I also think I like to go with wherever Unity is going, personally.
Okay, so and that's UI toolkit.
Yeah, but wherever it seems stable,
I
think
that's fine too. I don't think there's anything wrong with
that. Constant pixel size. Is that what we're doing? Constant. Skills.
Oh, our stream is loading. What happened?
I don't see any. Hold on, let me.
Alex.
Now you're okay. Yeah.
Now? On my thing, that's weird.
Got it. Yeah, I saw it on actual Twitch.
No, I'm seeing it on Twitch too. I'm saying
it was happening on Discord and Twitch.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, it must be me. But what I'm saying is like the usually my Streamlabs will tell me if there's some weird internet issues. I didn't get any of that. That's weird.
That's true.
Anyway, sorry if you saw some weird loady issues. Sometimes my internet can be weird.
Yeah. Can people in chat let us know? Like, can you still see us? Is everything okay now? It seems good on our side, but what is everyone seeing? Is anyone seeing anything weird, or are we back to good quality?
Just gonna put it here. No.
We can go a little over 8 if we want to like finish this one little thing we're doing.
What is this anyway?
I'm okay with that.
I'm gonna just call it the HUD. I don't want to put this in anywhere just yet, like a prefab. It's just like until it's like nice and finalized.
I agree. Yeah.
All right. It seems it fixed itself. Thank you, TACnode and Sludge Duck.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And thank you, Sludge Duck, for your first time chat.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
For sure.
Yeah, we could probably do it through game events, right? I mean, player is. It's probably safer to do it through game events.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, so that we can like make sure like there's like a state events. And state events. Yeah, here we go. Do we? Let me make sure we even have like an integer one. Oh, we don't. Okay, that's cool. Let me create one. So we need to create an integer game event in order to pass through the pass through the value. Game event. Pretty much just copying this over. Bugs sometimes. Oh, that's all it is. Okay.
Oh, yep.
Game event.
Yep. Okay. And again, this is just our like event listener. It takes in like different types and it figures out which method to call and stuff. So based on if it's a Boolean response, float, and etc. It gives us more control, so we don't have to always cast the objects, which is where we convert one object into another one.
I did want to make this change real quick. Which one is it? On raised? Yeah. This is just a cleaner type of thing. It's not that. Yeah, don't worry about that.
Okay. You had an error in the editor.
Still?
Yeah. Go back to the editor. Yeah. Object. It's still not there.
Yeah, where's that supposed to be coming from?
Ah, god damn it. So I guess I can't do this right now. I'll have to figure this one out later.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay. Game event. On player health changed. On player health slots changed.
Yeah, sure. Very, very clear.
Okay, so on player health changed. We're gonna pop that right in there. Let it take the value. In here, so this is an interesting one. Because it requires a like here if we do on player health slots changed. On player health slots changed.
Interesting.
I don't think I can just straight up set this guy's text. Right? I don't think I can do that. Let me see.
You probably can, to be honest.
Is this how you do it?
There should be a set text, I think.
No?
No?
Text. Okay.
Oh, but then
just for the sake of
sure, okay, got it. Yeah, between our next streams, we'll probably just find some basic UI assets and hook this up to so that there are some slots of some sort, even if for temporary, like right now they're hearts or whatever the case. We can do that for right now.
Yeah, you know, it'd be cool. I'll probably have to do this at some point, but kind of like a sort of converter type of thing.
What do you mean?
Like it's like you it's, what do you call it? Here we're doing an int response.
Yep.
Like a sort of conversion of the like as string, like a string version of this object, whatever it may be. You know what? Wouldn't that be interesting to try? Public unity event string to string response.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Is this it? Is this invoke response? Here we have object. Invoke object dot toString. Yeah, let's try that. Let's see if that does something.
What is it supposed to do? I'm kind of lost.
The idea is that whatever's coming through, whatever toString is for it, every object can do toString. So if it's an integer, toString should really be like an integer string.
Okay, all right. I'm following the idea, but yeah, let's see.
Which means we could pass it directly to text.
Oh.
But like, why are we doing that though?
Well,
so instead of us having to, so instead of us having to set the text, so for example, let's say we want to right now show 3 hearts, right? And instead of having to send the text like 3 hearts, it'll just pull from the int. So the int will say 3. It'll turn the int 3 into a string 3, and just pop that onto UI, and it should auto adjust.
Okay.
I think that's what you're going for, right, Alex?
Yeah. I think for playtesting purposes. So here we have on player. Excuse me. Health slots. I think we can have another thing called on player health slots changed. Would it make sense to you guys if I did something like on player health slots change?
Not much.
Okay, like changed happened, changes happening. Oh wait, no, sorry. It's probably better. Fly. How about that?
Nope.
Okay, so
no? Wait, sorry, did you say no?
Yeah. In my head, it's the same thing happening.
Yeah.
Sorry, change is like, you know, coming from state controller, but we want we want there to be a game event that actually applies the change itself.
Okay.
Like apply health slots. Like on.
I get what
kill zone.
saying,
Kill zone. Like, you know, hazards is gonna be
apply and then change is after it's done. You mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but I'm saying I do understand what Chris means about how like apply and change may eventually meld, but
worst case we could mess around with the names, but let's keep going.
Sure. Yeah, leave it for that's fine.
Okay, so this is probably something that we're gonna have to mess around with later, but like clean up. I mean, so here, god damn it, hold up. Yeah, here we go. Is it like treating that like a double click? I'm gonna lock this. Yeah, there's on player health slots apply. Okay, so we have response, we have toString response, and we have int response.
Okay.
Let me make sure this is not there, just in case. But toString response is always going to be there. But here we have int response. What do we want to do? We want to apply health slots. Sorry, apply health slots. So, you know, this captures that. Yeah, and then if player decreased, if player health slots decreased, we want to do.
Don't we want to do the same thing? Apply?
We're applying, but it's a negative integer now.
Yeah, it should just be a negative, right?
No, like I wanna like, you know, prevent her, I guess, from. I guess, how do you say? Like, I don't want it to apply over and over and over.
Oh, okay, got it.
I want to move the player away or disable it in some way. So the only thing I could think of is inactivating.
Yeah, because again, until we come back to the respawning and stuff like that. So I think that anything is fine for right now. But I do get what you're getting at.
Yeah, let me try like setting just deactivating the player, and let's see if this value updates.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that should be. Oh, I can't forget actually like doing the collide event stuff, right?
Yep.
Scene. Is it in cave 1?
Yep, sure.
Okay, I think this is like the last piece of it. So we're gonna do an is trigger. We're gonna do a collide event controller. On collided, we're going to all this on player health.
Makes sense.
I really don't know what's up with that, with the way it's doing. So here, maybe it's because of the bigger UI for some reason. It's not really like letting me drag it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, here I'm just gonna do -1 or something.
Yep.
I think that's really all I have to do. Oh, fire once, just in case.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so it doesn't keep going. Yep.
Yeah, so once you collide with hazard, it should fire, and you should lose 1. Okay.
Yep. So if everything is good, the UI is not on the right layer. If I had to guess, why we don't?
Well, it certainly deactivated the player.
Okay.
Where is it?
HUD. Go to HUD, and see if HUD is on screen space. Camera. It is main camera. Okay. Order and layer. Put it as like 3. It should be the frontmost layer.
That's weird.
And then new text is also not. Yeah.
Do you
Now,
see it in the
I
game?
think you should see it. No, we didn't see it in the game. Now we
There
do.
it is. Okay.
And it's
nice.
Yeah, so
it's all connected. Everything's connected.
Wait, what does 2 represent?
The amount of health the player has.
Oh yeah.
So it started
cool,
with 3 and now it went to 2.
That
what we'll
works.
do is, again, we'll add the respawning. We will flush out the health and everything. But for right now, at least we got that basic thing working, and I think that's good enough.
Yeah, I think for now we could probably just like have them for something like that. We may have to make this a little more, I guess, smarter. But for something like spikes, we want to definitely respawn them, right?
At
for
the
something
last
like
point, yeah.
But for something like hitting the player, we want to definitely knock them back. So
yes.
we could create 2 separate like applies. One like on spawning, like on player, like on player hazard apply or something like that, and then on player like enemy apply. So that way that we can control like what happens. This one you just apply damage. This one you apply damage, and you do all
that was the issue we had in Wake Up. We had no way to do that, so every damage just respawned. Here we want damage to just like knock the player back, and some damage will respawn. And
I definitely have to play around with this transition sequence, because I think I mentioned it to Chris, but we can actually separate the steps in this sequence into another sequence where they can call, like this one would just end up triggering the next sequence at a particular step. And then but they're reusable in that way, right? So for example, game load sequence could be everything from like setting the player's location, all that stuff, and then fading in. Transition sequence would do the fade out part and everything like that, like disabling player, unloading the room, and then let game load sequence carry the rest. And that's kind of where that might be like something similar that we may do, right? We may cut out a part of this for spawning.
Got it.
Purposes, right? So like the part that does spawning, or it could just be a whole other sequence on its own if it becomes too complicated to do all that. It's really like up to us. Whatever I think is clean, but also at the same time practical. Like that's kind of the route we have to go.
Makes sense.
But we have figured it out. We've connected all the everything that needs to be connected for a player to get damaged by something. And we able to update UI, I think. And plus we fixed all those other bugs. I think this was a pretty good one, right?
Yeah, we got a lot done this stream.
Good.
So we are in a good place to end for sure. And we can we can take it from here. So next week is what? I don't know what's happening.
Let me look at the calendar.
Next week is the
30th.
Okay, then maybe we won't stream just because everyone's gonna be getting ready for holiday stuff. I might be with family. I'm not fully sure yet. But regardless, follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. But on Instagram and Twitter, we will be posting when we will be streaming and if we will be taking a break for next week for the holidays and such. But regardless, we will definitely be back soon enough to continue working on this. In between streams, we'll take a look at figuring out some stuff about respawning, and we'll flesh out a bit more how we health system to work. And we'll get some basic UI assets to show. Instead of just text on the screen, we'll have like hearts or something to actually represent the slots that the player has. So if we don't see them next week, we will see them in the new year.
This is true.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
No, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. Just thank you for watching. Thank you, Enter Bunny and Sledge Duck for the follows.
Yep, and thanks to everyone
for always being there.
Always being there. Technode is reliable, homie.
And anyone else, anyone else who's watching, hope to see you guys next stream.
Yeah. So we will let you know when that is, and if it's not next week, we will see you in the new year. Happy holidays. BK Game Devs signing off.
Happy holidays and have a good one.
Peace out.